Là, on est en live dans 3 secondes, donc plus près. Merci. On va pas tarder, vous inquiétez pas. Je ne vais pas vous faire patienter plus longtemps, ce serait indécent. Merci beaucoup à tous d'être venus. Aujourd'hui, c'est le premier Blockchain Thursday. Donc, je vous invite, si vous avez des commentaires, des questions, les poster directement avec le hashtag. Et les équipes qui seront là, en plus, répondront. Donc, si on a une petite communauté qui avance à arriver en live, vous pouvez lancer la vidéo. C'est sur YouTube, vous la retweeter sur StartupToken. So, I'm going to switch in English. I hope everyone is okay with that. Just first a little disclaimer that I'm going to put here, because the startups that we present today are just coming and they are sponsoring the event, so it's thanks to them that the event is happening today. So just a little disclaimer because we are not actually accelerating them right now. So yeah. Today we have the chance to have a NeoPlace and EthicHub, and we are here at Work and Share. So this will be StartupToken accelerator in France. All the space here are actually available for rental, thanks to them. StartupToken tries to build a syndicated network of accelerator around the world. Right now, I'm the accelerator manager for France, and what we do is we try to bring together ideas, projects, and the partners that are already in the phase of production in all the projects. So that can help it's the beginning, I'm warming up, but trying to build a community around our accelerators, because we will have accelerators all around the world. We're opening the one in Paris, we have one in Gibraltar, we have one in London, and we're opening 3 in China this year, 1 in Seoul, 1 in Tokyo, and 1 in Singapore. But why are we here? We're here because we have a really vivid market right now happening all around the world. Some call it a bubble, some call it a kind of a crazy thing, but basically in the last years there were, in the ICO alone, $1 billion in the last 365 days, $1 billion raised through the ICO process. And that brings a lot of questions, because as we can see, just in the month of January alone, there were 103 ICOs, and all those projects, they have great ideas, but do they all have a great team? Do they all have the capacity to bring the project to a conclusion? When they're selling you their ideas, do they really believe themselves that they can reach this goal, or is it just, a dream we all have to build something that will make us rich? So we try to focus on projects that we believe in. So we have all those policies that we try to really get to know the startups we're working with. We have, for example, EnergyToken. EnergyToken try to digitalize and decentralize the energy market, and bring back and reward energy-saving behaviors. AddApps, which is building a protocol, a blockchain protocol, in order to decentralize the web. So as you can see, there are different approaches to that. Maybe others have heard about Substratum or other project, but AddApps is trying to build a protocol, so trying to bridge bridge things together. Academy is building a school of blockchain. It's one of the main projects, and we believe in the way they're doing it. Endorse is actually a professional network. It's a bit like a LinkedIn, and they try to have an endorsement system that is totally decentralized, so you could vouch for people in a bit more direct way. With LinkedIn, you work with someone and you're like clicking, okay, I think he knows how to do Photoshop, and so you give him one endorsement. But this way they can actually make sure that the endorsements are coming from valid people, not just from your friend who just say, oh, you're good, and bring some badges and things like that. So really interesting. Passabase is actually an ongoing project, and they will have an ICO in the coming months, so I invite you to look at them. But they're building a low fee remittance system and banking system for Africa. Tether just concluded their ICO, and they're building a cash for cryptocurrency decentralized exchange. Through the platform, you can just use it right now, and you click and you say, I want to sell and I want to buy Ether. Right now it's still in the alpha, of course, but you can just see that in the future you could reach anyone and buy and sell cryptocurrency with your cash. So it avoids the exchange, and it brings people closer together. Zilla is the Amazon for ICOs. They try to build, they have an app, and you could launch your ICO on the app. So all the email, the KYC is actually integrated in the app, and you just have to click on the link, say, I want to fund this project, and you don't have to check that you're sending to the right address, that the person who is launching this ICO is actually the one behind the project. There is no cheating. And Hacken, which is a bug bounty white hacker project. So they try to reward people who actually find bugs or zero-day and try to reward those people. So this is the kind of project we're working with. Those are the projects we are working with right now, and we try to expand in the idea that we have all those partners, we have all this community. We have actually, right now we are 20, so I don't know if it's because of the snow Hello, I'm really happy to have you today, so thank you for coming. That's really great. Just to have 20 people for me is more than enough. It's the first time, so it's great. But we try to bring those people together because we have, we are working with a school in France, so we are building a master program in France. We have legal partners. We have also some news partners. Those are just the close partners we have, and we are working with RSK, main technological partner. So all this community in France is kind of missing. For example, last year there were, I think it was 2 or 3 ICOs in France, based in France. It was really small. So what's happening? Where is the French community? And through this syndicated network, what will happen for us is I want to have this meetup every week. Just startups like NeoPlace, like EthicHub, they come and they pitch their project. They sponsor the event with just a small fee, but us, we have really little screening process, and just we want everyone to come and just pitch their project. For example, next week, we have a small project, it's just a seed project, and I invite you, if you know someone who is interested in the work of blockchain with liberal functions, with liberal work, like is working with an hospital, and he would like to get to meet people who want to discuss about how to digitalize the data from in the hospitals to avoid people to have just like you go to your doctor. I had a problem. Can you just print me what you gave me as a prescription? The doctor cannot do that. Needs to look in the file, etc. And so next week we will have this discussion. So there will be a round table, people sitting together, and I will try to bring people who want to talk about this subject, and just feel free to talk, join and talk. Then, of course, as a syndicated network of accelerator, projects from all around the world will come and pitch their project here. It will be the case during specific events that will be promoted in a different way, but here we really want to bring people and projects together. The next step for us is the hackathon. More than our weekly, perhaps bi-monthly, because we don't know exactly if we can keep up with the pace. Doing once a week is quite a challenge, but I want to take it, I want to try it. We have also a hackathon. Maybe, I don't know if all of you are familiar with the concept of hackathon, but it's simply people come, we give them a subject. It will be about a societal issue or probably about cross-chain and sub-chains. We're actually working with RSK, they will be our main sponsor for the event. So we'll give them the main topic, and they will have 2 full days to bring a project to life. And if it works, if we like it, we'll give them 10 BTC of services, which means for them, they can come, they can have an office, they can go to the roadshow, they can visit our other accelerators. And for us, it's a great way to challenge people and also to bring life to the community. So please feel free to join our website. If you want to join the hackathon, it's startuptoken.com/hackathon. But also we have the Telegram. I think I advertise it a bit too much. So feel free to join the Telegram if you want, and of course our Twitter. Now I will let NeoPlace do their speech. So,
yep.
Please. Thank you. We will have also at the end more like a discussion time. So please feel free to ask questions at the end of there.
Hi everybody, so with the NeoPlace team. NeoPlace simply is the future of marketplace. What is NeoPlace about? It's about accelerating access to e-commerce in 2 ways. Accelerating in developed countries, what does that mean? That means that cryptocurrency holders will be able to buy goods and services on the marketplace without converting into fiat. And in developing countries, it means providing access to e-commerce for 2 billion people who don't have a credit card and cannot buy online today. With the use of cryptocurrencies, those people will access e-commerce. What we're building for that is a new blockchain protocol powering marketplaces of tomorrow. There are several issues with e-commerce today. here are just a few key issues. The fees. We don't see it as buyers because the fees are paid by the vendors, but vendors pay 8 to 20% of fees for each sale. And you also have the forex fees because most of the transactions today are international, for example between France and China, and we can count between 5 and 12% of cost in the forex, just the forex. It's not inclusive for small vendors. Big vendors don't have an issue. Of course, they have the organization and the critical mass. For small vendors, small transactions, it's much more difficult to access the marketplaces of today, whether it be Amazon or the other ones. And the unbanked, as was saying, are excluded from e-commerce today. That's 2 billion people who cannot buy online. And finally, third big point is trust issues. Some platforms have solved most of these issues, but some have not. I'm thinking eBay, Craigslist, pictures are fake, no escrow payments, so you can send payment and then you don't receive the goods. So there is this trust issue that our protocol is solving. As I said, NeoPlace is a protocol, it's a technical project, and this protocol is empowering 4 offerings. These 4 offerings are first NeoPlace Service Remote, that's about buying services remotely. For example, hire a freelancer in India to design a website. The same thing but locally, NeoPlace Service Local, to buy a service in the same city. For example, hire someone to help me move flats or a cleaning person. When we go to products, we have NeoPlace Market Remote. If I want to buy a new laptop from China, for example. And NeoPlace Market Local is to buy the same laptop but second-hand in Paris. All these 4 offerings, 4 use cases are powered by NeoPlace. Robert?
Yeah, thank you. So why now? Because the global e-commerce is going to increase significantly in the next few years, especially in China, in Asia continent, and in South Asia. Did you know the Chinese people spend at least 1 hour each day spending to buy stuff online? The e-commerce is huge, especially in Asia and China markets. And by being the first marketplace with goods and services with an all crypto payment solution, we benefit from the first mover advantage. And as you see, cryptocurrency is currently more and more adopted worldwide. It's more and more popular across Asia, Europe, Africa, everywhere in the world. And so why a blockchain for NeoPlace? So by design, a blockchain allows us to build a decentralized model. There's no central server, no central authority, and no third party. So there's a better security, no intermediary. It's better in lots of aspects. And most of all, cryptocurrency that are based on blockchain allow us to overcome all the international trade, the capital controls, the forex exchange, and the inbound people. Did you ever try to send money abroad in Africa or around the world? Sometimes it's very expensive. Just look at the example of Western Union. And cryptocurrency is a great solution about that because you reduce fees with a decentralized model, with the blockchain, and everything about that. And NeoPlace introduces the concept of proof of stake. In fact, with the proof of stake concept, you can track all of the data and all the state of the transaction at each phase. So with the blockchain, because the data is immutable, you can track everything and you can't falsify data. So you can check the exact description, the exact price, the exact pictures that has been published at a given time. So basically, we are building a protocol for marketplaces. So this is the top level NeoPlace architecture. It's composed of several layers. the NeoPlace platform, the NeoPlace engine, and the blockchain Ethereum and IPFS protocol. So what's all that? So basically, NeoPlace platform is the platform that you, users, merchants, sellers, everyone that will use through the Android and iOS application with web application. And the NeoPlace API will allow the third parties to call multi-services on NeoPlace. You will be able to create your shop, to create a product, to create a service, retrieve some data transactions, everything about that. And you have also the NeoPlace engine. The NeoPlace engine is the core of NeoPlace. It's where NeoPlace protocol operates. So what's the NeoPlace protocol? The NeoPlace protocol is a set of multiple modules which will interact with Ethereum blockchain and IPFS layer. So how does it work? The NeoPlace protocol will, in fact, take all data and inputs, will hash with IPFS protocol, and we will store all the content data on IPFS. So, do you know what is IPFS protocol? No one? Yes, IPFS is the technology used behind Filecoin. Filecoin is a very big project. And IPFS has been designed and is considered to replace the HTTP protocol in the next few years. In fact, it's a peer-to-peer network, like a BitTorrent network, where data are all stored on a distributed nodes. So in the future, we expect the IPFS protocol to replace the HTTP protocol. And instead of storing all data on a blockchain, because you know, if you store that on a blockchain, it's not free, it's very expensive. So we store all the data on IPFS, and with that, because on IPFS, each file can be found with a hash. We will store on Ethereum smart contracts all the hashes of this transaction. So with all that, we will be able to retrieve at any given time the exact step of each phase of a transaction. And the smart contracts are our main core of NeoPlace.
Good. So what Robert has just explained is the under-the-hood view of how we deliver the marketplace through the blockchain. And the way we want to do it is by catering to the needs and the value of each stakeholder in the marketplace. So we've worked on each viewpoint from merchant to buyer and each phase of the transaction to see what is the hierarchy of features that people value the most and what do they want to see, be it from the client perspective or from the merchant's perspective. Okay, and we are going to optimize the full product that you've seen based on that, both from a performance perspective, but also from an ergonomics and a user experience perspective. We also are going to bring things that are very expensive in today's e-commerce, almost free of charge for the users of our platform, such as, for example, escrow account and other deal features. We want the community also to feel empowered and ownership of this platform. So, for example, dispute resolution is not going to be centralized by us. It's going to be crowd-funded dispute resolution based on people's reputation and track record in the platform itself. Okay. Obviously, one of the main features of blockchain is that what used to require a lot of means in terms of infrastructure and centralization and business development is today built by design through the smart contract and the IPFS architecture. And so we are very confident to beat by about half or less today's fee structure for vendors on the platforms. Okay, we've benchmarked them all, and we
are fairly confident we can go to a quarter of today's fees in most cases. Okay? The good news for you, if you are a user of e-commerce, and I certainly hope you do, you can download our app today on both iOS and Android. Don't go and make any transactions. We won't take your money. We'll refund you, of course. But the goods that you see there have been put by us at the moment. We haven't brought in vendors yet. Okay, but you can really experience the full ergonomics and the buttons and the features. Even the geolock works today. As far as our ICO event, we want to raise our funds through one single token, and we want our token to give economic rights to people who buy it. So not just a token that's a utility, but a token that would give an incentive both for use and for holding over the long term. So we will have a buyback program everywhere where it's allowed and legal, and it will be based on operating profits once the business is up and running. And we will also obviously have a credit back to anyone who uses our token in transactions based on the amount that they transact. We'd be more than pleased to see you on our Telegram, and we're opening the floor for questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So do you have any question you want to ask about?
The functionality of the token is only economical, or it has another functionality?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the question.
The token has any functionality and moreover the profit revenue?
Well, the token is really the currency in our platform.
Okay.
So it will be the main means of exchange to, for example, pay for your transaction, or pay the small fees, the 2 to 5% fees that you've seen.
That's what we want to encourage. It's like a loyalty program, like a loyalty token. If you pay with it, it's cheaper than if you pay with Bitcoin or Ether.
Yeah.
But the platform allows payment in all major cryptocurrencies, because that's really the objective of that crypto holders can spend their cryptocurrency in something else than just storing it to speculate.
And you said fiat currencies in the platform?
No fiat currencies, only crypto.
So yeah, so basically the NeoPlace token is an ERC20 token. So it's an Ethereum token. And what is good in NeoPlace payment platform is that we currently accept the main major crypto like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Neo, and of course our NeoPlace token. And besides using NeoPlace token to pay for your services or goods, you can use it later for third-party. Example, you want to create your own shop, you have to pay with NeoPlace token, and we'll create an ecosystem all about that.
Yeah.
So that's all about NeoPlace token.
Yeah.
The user, it is someone who's going to buy or someone who's going to get paid. Will need to have an account, or we need to have a wallet kind of to get the crypto and to pay with it, or it's say it's an account built within the platform.
So when you use NeoPlace, when you subscribe on the platform, it will automatically create a wallet for you. It will create a wallet in Bitcoin, in Ethereum, all other cryptocurrencies. So it will all be automatic. When you use the NeoPlace platform, it will be ready for you. You don't have to create something else.
Yes.
At the beginning, when you will launch, what will be your communication strategy to have in the same time buyers and sellers?
Excellent question. So for both, I'll go back to the slide at the beginning. We're going to have a staged approach where we're going to start first with NeoPlace service and market remote. Okay. As you will see if you download the app, it's relatively advanced in terms of features. And what we want is to really take the momentum of the ICO and and the attention that we're getting to launch at least one category in each product. Okay? So today the sort of candidate products or candidate categories is IT services for the service product, and laptop accessories for the product for the goods, for the NeoPlace market side of things. And we want to recruit as many vendors on both sides. Obviously, when you are a two-sided market, you need offer to bring demand. This is how it works. And we will really work with the NeoPlace community that we are working very hard to build to foster that sort of momentum. Obviously, we'll put enough incentives for vendors to come. So all of the fees will be nullified for the period of the ICO and probably after that as well.
And the buyers will be, and to get the buyers.
Yes.
You really
So they won't have platform fees for the whole duration of the ICO campaign. So we want people to use it and to use it massively first. We're not looking for a quick short-term profitability.
And because cryptocurrencies are currently more and more popular, they expect sellers who want to have some cryptocurrency, because in some countries you can't buy, it's very difficult to buy some cryptocurrency like Bitcoin, Ethereum and other cryptocurrencies.
Yeah.
So if you sell your products or your services, it's very easy to have some crypto in exchange, because you exchange with your crypto.
Yes. We're not only, just to clarify, we're not only competing head-on with the big boys of e-commerce, we're also actually opening a segment of the market that is not accessible to many people today. Yes,
yeah,
please.
there was I think rumors, I don't know if it was confirmed, about Ripple going with Amazon and partnering up and becoming a currency on Amazon. I don't know if that's something that...
I'm not aware of that.
We could discuss about this after if you want, but I never heard about Ripple myself. The Ripple recently. I heard about it, like Amazon being really interested.
Yeah,
but,
it was around Christmas, I think. There was
there
rumors that it was going to be announced.
Yeah,
and
it's
so
been
on.
2 months.
So my question is really, you know, the day that the big guys that are
Yes.
on classic e-commerce open their platforms to e-commerce, how will you...
It is definitely a big risk, and they definitely have a bigger brand awareness than we have. But we believe, with respect to bringing the e-commerce transactions on the blockchain, and not just having a loyalty program, but actually being on the blockchain to reduce massively the structural costs of e-commerce, you have to move fast and you have to be agile.
And
we're
the
counting
thing
on
is,
that.
if Amazon accepts Bitcoin or Ripples, it's just another means of payments for them. But what we're building is a whole new protocol that decreases the whole cost, streamlining the whole process, the whole supply chain, and that's just a huge competitor to the traditional systems with traditional servers and escrow accounts that are held in a bank, etc. So that's a very different paradigm.
But you're absolutely right, we have to move fast, very fast.
Okay, thank you for this presentation. You target to raise 30 million for 60% of the whole token issued. So you value the project, or the total economy about 50 million. What are the rationale behind?
The rationale is more around what we think we need to promote the project. So the proceeds will be used partly to finance, to fund the development, but mostly to fund promotion, because that's a project that needs a lot of users, buyers and sellers. So the biggest part of the use of the funds is to create momentum in terms of market, in terms of business.
Yeah, business development.
Okay, but my question is about the price of the token, not the fund allocation.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I understand, but the rationale is that's how we reasoned. We didn't reason by the value, because the market cap of these tokens could very well reach several $billions. So we could say we raised $100 million. At this stage, it doesn't really matter if our hard cap is 10 million or 100 million in comparison to what it can be worth in 2-3 years from now.
Yes, we're not really valuing the potential of the company. We're valuing our needs in terms of development to bring that potential to fruition. So it's more of a bottom-up valuation than a top-down.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, please.
Have you tested your concept or your MVP with seller or buyers?
We're actually relooping the MVP continuously, so what you will see today is at least the second or third version. We've spoken with people who are very accustomed with e-commerce, but not necessarily with our core target. We also benchmarked everything that is there for peer-to-peer selling, small vendor selling, and things like that. But we definitely have a lot of effort to do with respect to Southeast Asia and to catering to, for example, small vendors, which are a big target that's under-catered for today. So we do have still some learning curve in that department. But we've benchmarked with everyone who was willing to give us feedback, be it seasoned sellers or seasoned buyers. And we encourage you to come back to us if you have anything you don't like in the app. This is how we made it the way it is today. Okay. So I suggest we leave room for EthicHub.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is it no?
Yeah.
Hello, everybody. I'm sorry we were late. We were in a snowstorm in Geneva that we were pitching there yesterday. Thank you very much for inviting. We are very happy to be here. My name is Jorge Armbruster, and I was CEO of a company with over 100 sales points. So I know a bit of e-commerce and these things, so we can speak later. And when I took the decision to start my own project, I decided to make an innovation master's degree and travel around the world searching for opportunities. And in that journey, I researched about over 20 projects, and at the end, this is the conclusion I get, that this is the one with most potential economical, but also with more positive impact in the world. So the first thing I had to do with this idea was to build a team. We are nowadays 9 people working full-time in the project. I am super proud that I convinced all these people to work with no wages for months because they think this will be something big. And together we won the Blockchain for Humanity Award back in the Bitcoin, in the financial inclusion section. And EthicHub is about Miguel. People like Miguel. He's a small coffee producer in Mexico, and people like him doesn't have access, as you also speak about that a bit, to traditional credit sector. So the only access to credit is local cash loans with super high interest. I mean, over 100% interest, 10% monthly is in our area. I am half Mexican. The typical cost for the loans, and they pay. That's the incredible thing. And he is only one of the 2 billion unbanked people in the world. On the other hand, you, European, me, people who has their savings in the bank, we don't get mostly anything for our savings. So it wouldn't be more logical that you lend your money to Miguel, so he has to pay much less interest, and you earn bigger returns on your savings. That's EthicHub. So I will put a video. How can I put the play?
It's 1 minute and a half, but it's a succinct way of explaining the whole part.
You have it's in the It's only 1 minute and a half, and it explains very easily how we want to do it.
Where is most of the money in the world? That's why you get so little from your own money. Where there is not enough money to work, that's why they have to bid for the available money. It is not enough money to lend it to everyone. What if money could freely travel around the world? Average European investor has access to low return investments and must let others decide what his money is going to be used for. In addition to high transferring costs, there are legal and bureaucratic barriers for his money to be invested overseas. Small coffee growers in Mexico have a profitable activity, but since they are not bank credit subjects, they only have access to small local cash loans at very high interest rates. EthicHub makes global financial connections easier and cheaper, creating value for both parties, higher returns for the investor and lower rate loans for small producers. Our local node personally knows producers, so he can evaluate if requested loan fits the need. He will assist them to integrate the group, and acting as a collective, they will apply for a loan. Now all these investment opportunities are available for you. For investors who care about the impact of their money, but also want good return on their savings. Finally, helping becomes profitable.
So, EthicHub is, our mission is about democratizing access to credit and also to best investment opportunities, and at the same time humanize credit sector. And our values are equal opportunity, community, because we really think that tokenomics is about building a community around a token. So a token only has value if people supports and buys and believe that has a value. And trust, because if I have to convince you to lend your money to Miguel, everything is about building trust between you two. And blockchain helps a lot in building this trust because it inherent transparency and immutability, but also because of smart contracts that allows really peer-to-peer transactions between you and Miguel with no single middleman, not even us. We are only a marketplace. The money never goes through us, so there is no marketplace risk at all. Crowdfunding were already increasing sharply, and it was expected to grow over 40 to 52% annually up to 2022. But this expectation didn't take into account the capacity of blockchain to break the borders of the money and also bring these 2 billion people into the global economy and also into this sector. This is another version. I wanted to show you some numbers. This is an example of just in Mexico, just in coffee, because we started in Mexico with coffee because this is what we know better. This is 160 million credits potential. And agricultural products, not only coffee but all, are super stable markets, and this is one of the good things of this, that at the end we all have coffee, no matter the price goes up and down. This is a speculative thing, but the consumption and the production, it goes always up. And I let Gabi, our content editor and advisor, to introduce you to how it more.
Okay, this is how it works with the smart contracts. Since this is crowdfunding, we have the investors are funding groups of growers. It's not individual loans, but collective. So that way, the community backs themselves. So they are like the second filter. First, we have the local node that was mentioned in the video. But then, when you gather a community, they back up each other. They won't put into the group someone they know won't pay because they will have to be solidary on the payment. Okay, so. First, in order to start another way. Any investors can use the platform, but not any project can apply for a loan. There's only positive impact loans. It's only loans for productive activities. The platform won't give money for consume, which generates debt. This is only money for produce more money. And in advance, they have to pay, since the experience of our partner in projects is that the default rate is below 3%. That's the amount it is asked for this collective of borrowers to pay in front in order to apply for the loan. That's for the warranty fund, okay? So, once the amount is set, the investors put the money into the smart contract, which knows the amount it has to be collected. Once it is collected, it goes through, this is very important, the platform creates digital identity for each one of the users, which is another problem they face right now. They don't have a credit history. Even when they pay every year, these very high rates of interest are repaid, but there's no register because they're made in cash. Okay, so it generates a register of the amounts, individual amounts, but then it collects in one account, which is a representative of the collective, and then it goes through the exchange to the farmer's representative's bank account to convert it into fiat, because the loans are, what's the word? In pesos.
Denominated.
Denominated, I'm sorry. The words are denominated in pesos. So it converts them automatically to fiat, to pesos in this case, okay? So, and something important, the exchange has this oracle to mark into the smart contracts the exchange rate at that moment, because since the credit is in pesos, it's important that even if the value of the crypto, which is only to make the fiat money travel, keeps in related with that. Okay? Payment flow. Again, all the collective loaners, borrowers, pay back through the representative, and then it goes through the exchange again, and again, individually, it will go to mark that every one of them repaid, because we build a reputation out of it, and then goes to the smart contract, which only then pays back the interest to the investors and generates what we call only in success fees. That's it. If we are not generating, if the platform is not generating wealth, value, you shouldn't be charged for using it. So it's only when they repay that the local node gets 4% of the amount. There's the platform's cost of operations, which, with, as you said, with blockchain gets the lowest it can be. This business model wouldn't be possible without blockchain. And then the reputation. This is generated by a smart contract that marks the reputation of the local node, which is linked to the repayment of the community he recommended. Now, in case of default, the smart contract will send the reputation, the information to this reputation smart contract, which will burn, because we will have these stars like in eBay to mark the fiability of the project, and also the exit of the success, of the local node. So it will send this information here and will burn the reputation of the unpayers, and will send information to the warranty fund's smart contract, which will buy the debt to the investors, paying in exchange the amount of the principal. So it will be covered, but will buy in back the debt. So this way, we make sure that we make a ethical recovery of the debt. Never ever deprive the producers of the basic means of subsistence. Maybe they had a problem, they will pay a month later or less amount that they were able to. We will analyze what the problem was. But the smart contract won't wait, and the investors won't wait. Okay, so that's how it works. And okay, there is another platform working like we do, and also aiming to the unbanked. This is Kiva. They don't work with cryptocurrencies. It's not on blockchain. But the operational cost of Kiva, since it's carried out on fiat, and in a cost for the borrower of around 40%. And this is without benefit for the lender, which is, how do you say, it's not charity, I forgot the word.
Altruistic.
Altruistic, sorry, I forgot the word in English. So, which is altruistic. So now with this platform based on blockchain, the cost goes so low that we try to make all the profit just for the lender and for the borrower and the third actor, which would be the local node. And that's it. Ah, yes. Yes, this is the, if the investors get the 15%, that will amount 27%. So this is the first one, 4% for the local node, 3% for the warranty fund, 2% for the maintenance of the platform, which is servers, marketing, wages, and 2% for the exchanges from fiat to crypto. This will get reduced on time because as the market increases, I'm sure the values will decrease, and the smart contracts are programmed to reduce the amount if it happens. It also, we expect with time, the warranty fund, the default rate would be also lower because we have something called reverse auction. That is, imagine that there's a group offering 15% for such amount of money for work. And then you as an investor says, okay, I'm going to crowdfund this, and you put the money. But then the smart contract waits 14 days to close the amount. So if somebody else sees that the rating is very high because they have repaid many times the amount of money borrowed, you would say, I prefer to get, say, 10%, but be sure that it's my money, is going to fund them. And then another person comes and says, well, maybe 8%, because I'd rather have the security, for sure they are going to pay back. So the smart contract releases the money who was more expensive back and takes the combination of the best rates for the producer. This way we make a value, we make an asset out of reputation. And okay, now this is for this time.
Yeah, and this idea of making crowd lending over a blockchain is already very hyped because it really is one of the most clear use cases for blockchain. The EthLend, SalLending, CoinLoan, and some others are trying to make loans collateralized with tokens. For example, Ripio, Fintrux, Lenduit, Debitum, and some others are trying to do non-collateralized credits, but so they propose a scoring made out of that. Both things will, I'm pretty sure, will work, and we all together will really make a step forward in order to break the borders for the money. But none of them work for the unbanked because they don't have tokens or data enough to make a scoring. They don't have a salary to know how many incomes they have. They sell in cash their coffee or whatever they have. They don't have, for sure, very few data. So our proposal is, Pablo, this is our partner, this is our local node. He has already worked with thousands of small agricultural producers in Chiapas, Mexico. First as the manager of the biggest coffee buyer in the area, and then he set up a financial intermediary company to help these people to get loans from the government, and these funds doesn't exist anymore. So nowadays he was with his own farm, and when I had this idea, I called him, you have to help me to build this. And we together decided that the best way to do it is with what we call the local node. That is a person who locally a representative or who knows the area, knows the people, select the people, and help them join this together to ask for this loan and make the bridge for the digital world. Because many of these people are not is still in the digital world. So we started a bit at the opposite that you did. We started with the idea, with the team, with the community, and nowadays we have over 1,000 people believing in this will be possible. Indeed, we started with our token sale, pre-sale now. This is what we call, we have rethink how should token sale should be done. And for example, we will make 4 token sales instead of 1, and because we think that it's better to ask for the amount needed for the next 6-18 months, sometimes. So that way, at the end, as traditional startups were doing before this ICO era. Era, and that way, in the future, when we sell tokens in the year 4, if we are successfully doing our project, if we are accomplishing the roadmap, we will get much more funding than we can get now with just a white paper or even with a minimum viable product. So, hope you like our project. If that's the case, please join our pre-sale, and thank you very much for the interest. Any questions, please?
If the borrower is unbanked, how can he convert cryptocurrency once he gets it?
Oh, he won't. The
Okay.
smart contract, he will receive pesos. The smart
Okay.
contract will go to the bank account of the representative of the community who asked for the money, so he will give the money in cash to them, and they will pay it back in cash also.
Okay. And as a lender, like, do I know in advance the interest rates that I will get?
Yes, they will have, you see the small drawing in the platform, what you will get there, it's a menu with different projects. We start with Mexico and coffee because it's something we know very well, but the idea is to make it global to different countries and in other crops, but only long-term crops, not fragile things like tomatoes that can get frozen and whatnot, but cocoa, sugarcane and that. So the idea is this to grow. So I'm sorry, what was your question? Because I think I missed it.
No, you have already answered.
Okay.
Yeah, you said the loan is denominated in pesos. Let's say I have 1,000 euros and I'll lend it. It's converted into pesos, but then after a year I get 15% interest rate, but the pesos is half the value. So do I get back
For
only
sure.
500 euros?
You are assuming why we offer 15% for you? Because
No. What I'm saying is that do I get back only 500 euros after a year because
Yes,
the
for
pesos
sure.
has devaluated?
Yes. I mean, you are assuming 2 risks. One is default risk. We try to reduce it with this warranty fund, but of course, if a hurricane comes and the default rate increases sharply over 3%, you won't get your money back. And also a currency risk. After speaking with many investors, they say, okay, if you analyze the evolution of exchange rates, the idea, if you invest in some countries with a macro financial healthy financial macro situation, some of them, they are in the long term always revaluating against euro or dollar or whatever. So our idea is to spread the currency risk, helping you to invest in many countries. You decide which ones, so you can balance the currency risk, even gain also with the currency risk. We are thinking also in a cross-selling of exchange insurance, but of course in reducing your profitability. And at the end, after speaking with many investors, they say, okay, I'm willing to assume this risk if you get me at least 50%. That's why we settle the 50% at most for the investors, And with experience, and the auction for interest, we think will be decreasing in the future.
What average length of loans do you expect for the beginning? The time of the loan.
Okay. Yes, at the beginning it's going to be a loan for harvesting, which is a short harvest to cut the coffee, because that's a short-term cycle loan, and this way we will have an idea of the amount of production they are able to crop. So that way, when they do the annual request for the loan, we will know what it's based on, kind of if it's a warranty, how much they are able to produce with the coffee. And the idea at the end is to generate a global portfolio of offers to have covered all the seasons with different products in different parts of the world.
So we start with 3 months the loans, then we go to 12 months for the people who has already paid the 3 months, and more in the future. I understand we have even to go farther to 3 years loans, for example, in order to settle up irrigation automated system and things in order to increase this productivity, because this is about helping them to increase their productivity.
Now the poverty cycle goes like that. They just get enough money to go on until almost the next year, so they have to ask money again to the minimum. They don't have money to invest. This way you would provide them the means to increase their production.
More questions, please?
Something I have to tell, I forgot because it's very new. The Universidad Autónoma de Madrid, which is a public university, is going to conduct, we just signed the agreement last week, so that's why we haven't published it yet. They're going to do the measurement of the social impact on this area. So we start with a baseline, like registering exactly how they are now, and then a control group, in order to measure the impact of your loans.
I thought you were going to announce that yesterday we reached our soft cap.
Yes, so this is no longer a beautiful dream. This is a reality. We are getting on. So it's you know how everything happens in blockchain. It's too fast. We start building on Ethereum because it was the most stable blockchain that was allowing smart contracts. But now in December, RSA-Key already have the smart contracts, and so we are not like married with one blockchain. We will see. We want to aim to reach all these project objectives, and we will choose the better blockchain at the moment. Right now, this was, but we are not committed to it.
Excellent.
There are more universities. ESADE, which is the best one of the best business schools in Spain, is going to make a case of study out of our project. And there's also the first blockchain university in Barcelona, which is called BSN, Barcelona. It's also having agreements with us. So if you have any more questions.
Nothing else?
Actually, we have pizza on the way, we have some beer, you can stay and talk. I would like just to do something that's not done usually in this kind of conference, and that's like asking you, do you have some questions, or like you have some subject regarding blockchain technology and the future of technology in the blockchain industry that you would like to talk about? For example, one of the questions I would just like to ask everyone, and if someone wants to talk, please do, is what do you think is the future, for example, last year, most of the focus, when we looked at blockchain projects, the ones that were really in focus were the one with about privacy. And I would like you to know what in your opinion, will be the future subject that will be the main focus of attention from the global community. Is there anyone?
Probably linked to consumption of power.
I mean, energy and these kind of things.
I know there's a lot of solutions that are being looked at.
Yeah.
But it seems it's especially on projects that are considered perhaps ethical. Yeah, I mean, how do people feel about that? It's a question now.
Yeah, you mean like you think the people are really interested by empowerment in a way?
Well, no, I think it's the energy that the blockchain technology requires is so important.
Yeah.
Of course, we're turning towards more and more, renewable energies and setting up mines, for example, in very cold places and all that. But I mean, the amount of energy that blockchain in general will require in the near future is huge.
Do you think RSK or like other technologies are actually bringing kind of like a reason for the mining to exist? Because with all this mining, we can actually effectuate some calculations. So, what does anyone know any project that actually bring this any utility to this power?
Well, I think there's RSK that
RSK,
is doing something
sure.
out of
But
it
They
to use the energy already spent. Say the smaller solutions, the simpler solutions, they're working as a proof of work for another
Yeah,
transaction.
for the smart
So
contracts.
they are
With
like
merge
instead-
mining.
Yeah, merge mining, and
But-
also there's concept of proof of stake that is not based on energy. So this is developing very fast. So I think we can afford to keep this growing expense of energy, of course, but I think this will be solved. I attended a meeting about how it all started with Satoshi Nakamoto, and that one of these
The
things.
real one? So always a question.
Yes, quoting this idea that this is like the conjunction of 40 years of investigations, not a one-person idea. But he said, let's launch it. It's not ready, it's not perfect, but the community will build around it solutions. Because if we wait until something is perfectly round, we will wait maybe another 20 years. So it will go. You can see how fast new solutions are arising. So
All right.
I have faith this won't be a problem soon.
They are already live, so proof of stake is already live on some things, and there is also delegated proof of stakes. So we have 3 already blockchains doing that. So energy is, for me, it's something of the past.
Yes.
No one wants to do proof of work anymore. In reality. So all the new blockchains start on something else as an proof of work.
As a
So
needed
avoid
point
all the Bitcoin
moving
and
forward.
everything because it's already something of the past in the consensus theory.
Not to mention, and also what you were saying, there is a project over there to, I don't remember the name, but it was about sequencing DNA with this.
Protein folding.
Yeah.
Protein folding. It's really one of the key elements for me. Like when I look at all the technologies, all those things that actually have some basically with trying to fold proteins, you just generate random DNA, you try to fold it, and then you try to match it with a disease, with some kind of a problem we're having, and so they're trying to develop drugs for Alzheimer and this kind of things. Anyway, pizzas are here, so thank you very much for coming, and please enjoy, stay, have some networking, have some fun. Thank you, and I hope to see you next week or the week after. Feel free to come again. Thank you very much.